Well,
check, 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 check. Holy cow. Holy cow. Holy cow. What have we done now? Gee, my knee. Hey, is this thing live? Is this thing on? Oh my gosh. Yes, we're pre-show. And thankful to Tim at vMix for all the new cool lower thirds. Whoa, there are hundreds of them in vMix 24. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see 3 of them today. So who have we got here? Kevin's here. And we've got some folks, let's see. We got some folks watching. I can see numbers. Can't see names. And we've got some folks watching in Facebook. That's great. And your comments are not over here, unfortunately. And Kevin's here. Kelvin is here. Thank you, Kevin and Kelvin. As if things weren't bad enough for me already. Holy cow. Let's see. How can we get this thing up there? There we go. There we go. I don't know why. Maybe we're back now. Isn't that interesting? All of a sudden, the stream just went a little wonky. We've got good internet. I tested a little while ago. We got 20 up. And whoops. I forgot to turn off the telephone. Let's see if we can do that right now. Not sure if that did it or not. Yeah, let's see. Froze for a bit. Yes. I come on and it starts buffering. Well, of course, Marie. Of course. You have that effect on more than just live streams. Let me tell you. Jan knows that. All right. John says, I will have to take the vMix 24 class if there is one. There we go. Checking in. Does 24 do HST? Don't know what HST is, Tim. Probably not. Michael is here. Good looking picture. He's a lucky guy. Okay, let's see. What is Clint saying? I got to get this phone camera thingy out of the way. There we go. Clint is anxious to see today's show. Will Clint be anxious for nothing? There you go. Audio. Wait, what? That was another episode. Yeah, really. Rich, the answer to your question is you'll have to stay tuned. It's an adventure, let me tell you. It's an adventure. Yeah. Let's just put it at that. It's an adventure. Michael is so looking forward to this, especially to hear about the minimum specs. Well, there you go. There's specs and then there's specs. Let's see what's going on YouTube. Oh, okay. I got you. I can see, oh, look at this. I can see the Facebook comments on the Facebook stream. And then, because I've got this going here, I can see those comments too. Michael says, can it run on Ethernet? Michael, anything can run on Ethernet. But yes, I think, excuse me. Whoa. I was up way late last night. I mean, that's what we're talking about today. Multiple subjects, but it'll be good stuff. You know, one of the challenges that I had was, number one, I am not a replay guy. I can operate it very basically, but I wanted to see what the effect of this 8-camera replay was going to have on a machine. And so it's been an interesting experience. I want to kind of take you guys through my experience. Michael says 8 cams on NDI. I'm not going to spoil all the fun for later. That would be a spoiler to tell you that whether 8 cams on NDI is possible or not. Yeah, well, all right. HST is HTTPS for streaming. The new Epiphan does. Well, if the new Epiphan does, Tim, you better go buy one. Darn. No, I don't. That's a good question. I didn't think, I haven't heard, and the fact that it's not in the vMix changelog or feature set or something like that. Yeah, that would be a good question for the next vMix Funtime Live show. Kevin is asking, did the video help? Kevin, of course it helped. I don't recall whether we're going to see any of it today or not, because I had video from several different sources. And looks like the okay, now we're back. It's funny because I can hear something in the background that changes tone when the stream pauses. Isn't that interesting? I need to find out what that is. Now, we're live streaming to Facebook and YouTube, 1080p 60 to each. So, but we should have plenty of uplink bandwidth. That's the thing. Although, bandwidth kind of comes and goes. Rick's asking, what is going on when a call-in guest's audio fades in and out like an ACG is compressing it? Rich, I don't know. I have not experienced that before. John says, are the planning on unlocking the PTZ controls for the HT version? Haven't heard anything on that, John. Haven't heard on anything like that. Let's see. Rich says, and the answer to his earlier question is yes. No, this is the internet. There's a difference between the network and the internet. Right? You taught me that. Yeah. Is my chair running? Oh, my chair might be running over an Ethernet cable. No, not really. But I do hear it's a sound change. I heard it just now, but I don't see the stream being affected. So we'll see. Yeah, if we go up and down 2 more times, I'm going to drop the stream, cut the frame rate back to 30, and then start the stream again. So we'll see. There's one. There's one. Okay, one more. Kevin says, bet your network is getting saturated, causing the stream wonkiness. Possibly. John is best comment today. Chair rolling over my internet cable. Would I leave an internet cable out in the middle of the floor where I could run over it? Oh, John says John Burrows in Facebook says he does like the low volume alert. Yes, I do too. And they added another alert today. What was it? I don't remember. But it was in the version 50 was released hours ago. So we'll have to see what that was. But yeah, there was another alert that was added. Stephen Haywood is in Facebook, says, honestly, you don't need 60 frames per second for a talking head show, only if you're gaming. Well, Stephen, I know people that do 60 frames a second for their church service. But the reason I like it, even though I'm borderline today, is I really do think it smooths out the video. I think it has a good look to it, and I like a good look. Hello, Steve. Steve Konaki is here. And Rudy says, has had the bird or the dog a bite? Yeah, that's right. I've never been bitten by a bird that I can think of. Dog, yes. Yeah, I've got scars from putting my hand into the middle of a dog fight. Had to save the dog. Marie said when she saw the low volume warning, she was thinking about me. I wonder if Martin wasn't thinking about me too. Although Martin K made that great no audio alert that he said he was thinking about me, but I never used it. Hey, Dave, welcome. Glad you're here. Jim's here. Glad you're online. Rick says Facebook says he only uses 720/60 and does not see any quality loss that's noticeable. Well, it depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at your phone, probably not. But if you're on a 55 or a 70-inch TV, I bet you notice the difference. Steve had a parakeet bite a long time ago. Thank you for sharing that, Steve. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Steve, you and I need to go for a soda one day. William Warfield is here. Hey, Tom, tuning in from Lexington, Kentucky, the home of the Wildcats. Wildcats. Let's see. Is that a football team or a baseball team or maybe a basketball team? Yeah, some of the footage that we're using today is footage that was donated by William Warfield. Thank you, sir. Oh, Eric is here. All right, we can get started. Thank you, Eric. Actually, Eric, I was going to reach out to you, and I realized we're not friends on Facebook. I was going to send you a Facebook message and see if you had any game tape that I could borrow for today's show, but I never pulled it together, so it was me. Let's see. It's only a visual warning. Marie, we still need your voice. I like it. All right. Jan said he just installed all his network gear in an IKEA closet where he has added temperature control fans and power monitoring to avoid cables under his chair. Yeah, lemonade. That's good, Steve. Thank you for reminding me. I tend to get dehydrated on the show because I'm talking so much and breathing so much. It just really takes the, what do you call it? The water out of me. That's right. Marie says, my main job on this stream is to shout audio whenever Tom forgets his mic is muted. Well, Marie, you're going to have two opportunities on that today because I'm going to use my vMix call on my phone and use the audio on that. So I'm likely to forget to turn off that audio right there. And then when I get back here to this desk, I'm likely to forget to turn that audio back on. So there you go. So let's see. What are we thinking here? One sec. Let me check a number. Checking a number. Yes, Jan, I want to see some pics. Uh-oh. I see something spinning on Facebook. Are we having problems on Facebook? No, excuse me, YouTube. I've got red lights here, but I've got spinny video here. Michael wonders how I set up the network for all those feeds. Michael, I just plugged them in. It wasn't anything fancy. Okay. So, all right. So I've got a little circled thing here on my YouTube. I could check this other YouTube. Let's check that one and see. We'll go right up to current day. Yeah. Okay. So it's working. I was watching the live streaming YouTube studio page that shows the number of viewers, the chat rate, the playbacks, the average watch time, the chat, and then a little teeny box. I could show you a little teeny box of the live stream. And generally, it moves and stuff like that. But right now it's just, oh, now it's back. Okay, there we go. Now I feel better. Feel better. Let's go back here. No, let's go back here. There we go. All right, so Michael says, didn't saturate any 1G links. Well, Michael, if I told you that, now I'd spoil the show. We're in the pre-show. Yeah. Eric says he's done a 6-camera replay. That's the max for most replay ops. I believe that. I do believe that. Unless you have a bunch of good shortcuts set up. Michael, just upgrade to a 10 gigabit network, says Jan, and stop worrying about network bandwidth. Well, yeah. Would that we could all do that. Let's see. John on Facebook says the new alert that was added looks like no recording. He says no tick. Are we coming back? Check, 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 check. Are we back yet? There we go. Now we're back. All right, that was the second one. If I stop the stream to adjust the, I'm not going to go with the bit rate, but I was thinking about doing the frame rate. I am going to lose the Facebook. Well, I can restore the Facebook feed manually and the live and the YouTube feed manually. All right. Matt Thomas says, sounds like the network is preparing for a crash. Matt would that I got those kind of warnings. Michael Quist says, side note, Bird Dog keyboard versus PTZ Superjoy. Yeah, that's coming up, Michael. I'm waiting to get some more Superjoys. I sold them all. All right. It is now 3 o'clock Eastern time. I think we're going to do the show. We haven't had any pauses in the stream that didn't come back. So, yeah, we probably shouldn't have pushed it to 60 today. The reason I did 60 is, well, I'm getting into the show stuff. But the reason I did 60 on the broadcast was because I'm doing 60 on the, on the replay. I've got 8 cameras, each one doing 1080p 60 into this other PC. So that's why. Yeah, it's time for the show. Ron's here. It's time for the show. All right, let's go. Let's hit the right buttons. You ready? We're hitting buttons now. Who knows what? RJ's like, Tom, do you still need my 1080p 60 basketball videos? RJ, no. I needed them like yesterday when I asked for them. I mean, really, dude. I'm just teasing. You're all right. Here we go. Hold on. Hold tight. We'll be back. Oh my gosh. Have we stepped in it now? Hi, I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. I'm so glad that you showed up. And for those of you that showed up earlier, you get a toast of lemonade. And the next time we're together, physically in the same place at the same time, the lemonade is on me. Hold on. Oh my gosh, that's so good. So good. All right, so here's the deal. Today is the day. vMix 24 came out, what was it, yesterday or the day before, maybe Monday. They've been working so hard on that. You can see, or I can see, the depth of vMix 24 in terms of what they've done the documentation, the new titles, the new videos that rolled out when vMix 24 rolled out. This is the richest experience that I think vMix has made for users in the rollout of any software. And, you know, doggone well better be, because we waited a year for it. Holy cow. You remember in, what was it, September of 19, we were talking about, you know, vMix, was it September of 19 we were talking about vMix 24? And then spring of 20, that's right. And then the spring of 20, this little pandemic thingy hit, and NAB went away, and IBC went away, and this spring's NAB went away. It's been postponed to the fall, IBC as well. 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're back. All right. Sorry about that. That's part of the deal today, is we're pushing the internet to the limit. We've got 2 streams of 1080p 60 at, I think, not really much, maybe 4.5 each. So that's 9. Tested bandwidth this morning was 20, and we get consistent 20. We get consistent 20. So unless something's going on in the neighborhood, that's probably not the problem. But we are saturating the 1 gig network with NDI stuff like you wouldn't believe. George Vick, kudos for doing a 6-cam replay. He did that back in November. He said it was a lot. I believe it. And yeah, and Rick is saying in Facebook that they just released vMix 24. He upgraded yesterday, and he sees that there is another upgrade today. And yes, there is dot 50, a dot update, Martin Sinclair, a dot update of dot 50 was made about 12 hours ago. You can get that at vmix.com. And if you wonder what I'm talking about, you can go to vmix.com, download a free trial of the $1,200 version, not watermarked or crippled in any way, and you can use it for 2 months for free. And then you can call me and I will sell you a license at the same price vMix would, because that's what we do as resellers. Plus, we design and build PCs. And what I've done today is I've built this beast over there. I'm going to take you over there in just a minute and show it to you. It is an 18-core Intel CPU with, I tried to get, you know, an RTX 30 anything, but they're not to be had, at least not by little guys like me. So we've got an RTX 2080 Ti as graphics card, I think 32 gigs of RAM, some M.2 solid state drives. Anyway, I'll show you a picture of it, or I'll show it to you because it's wide open. Doesn't have a case or anything. I mean, this is prototype, baby, prototype. We've got, as you heard, we have 8 cameras coming into this prototype. The idea was that the new vMix 24 was a major rewrite of vMix's instant replay system. And they wanted to separate the A and B parts of the replay, which I don't have a clue what they do or what they mean, but I know it's important somehow that they're separated. So they did that. They separated the A and B, and they doubled the number of cameras from 4 to 8, and they quadrupled the frame rate from whatever it was before to 240 frames per second. Can you imagine? If you could get a camera that could do 240 frames per second, you could slow it down to 25%. 25% of 240 would still be 60 frames a second. So it would be slowed down to 25% video, if I've done my math right, at 60 frames a second. It would be amazing. So you could slow it down to 12.5%, and it would still be 30 frames a second. Holy cow. I wanted to see if we could build a PC that would do that. The problem is I don't have any cameras that will do that. Now, I do have 8 cameras here that are running 1080p 60. 8 cameras, 1080p 60. They are all Bird Dog P200s. Hat tip to Bird Dog for that. They didn't give them to me. I bought them, but they're good cameras. We like them a lot. And I'll show you a picture of those in just a second. I've got a little flock of them over here. Apparently it's called a flock pack or a pack flock, something like that. Anyway, got a bunch of them over here. 4 of them are running NDI. And frankly, I ran out of Ethernet cables, which is probably a blessing. And so I said, okay, well, let's see what other kind of cable I got. And I had 2 long NDI cables and 2 long SDI cables. So I've got 4 NDI 1080p 60s, 2 SDI 1080p 60s, and 2, what would be left? HDMI 1080. We need to be back. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. So we have 8 cameras, 4 NDI, 2 SDI, 2 HDMI. And so I had on hand some Yuan 1080p 60 capture cards, 4-port. So I put in 1 SDI 4-port and 1 HDMI 4-port. And so we've got 2 capture cards in the PC, and I'll show you a picture of that in just a second too. And it, again, it said that the .50 update fixes Tom issues, streaming with no audio. Okay. So, oh golly, and there it goes again. Oh, no, just for a second. If it does it one more time, we're going to have to restart, but I'm just trying to hang in there because it's going to be such a pain in the butt. Ryan, it's the same on YouTube, I think. It's me. It's me. What does my CPU usage show? Rick, that's a good question. Let's just find out the answer to that question real quickly. CPU usage is, that's funny. Task Manager says 70%. vMix says 60, 70, 53. Yeah, maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe that's what the problem is. I tell you what, let's do. If you're watching this on Facebook, we're going to just drop the Facebook feed. So I invite you to come over to easternshorebroadcasting.com, or better yet, just go to streamingidiots.com. It'll be there. And I'll drop that one and I'll wait for you. So let's see. That's going to be the Facebook feed is going right now. Okay, so we've dropped the Facebook feed. Maybe that's going to help. And my apologies to those of you that were watching Facebook. Let's make a message here to www.streamingidiots.com. Right? All right, so let's go back to that. All right, so there we go. So, yes, the PTZ Optics can do 720p 120, but Jan, I didn't have any on hand. I got 2 yesterday afternoon. Actually, I got 3 yesterday afternoon, and a hat tip to Paul Richards at PTZ Optics. He has, I guess I don't know if it's a long-term loan or what it is, but anyway, he shipped me actually, this is a camera that used to be in his studio. I could tell because the camera name was like Backwall Studio. So this came from the PTZ Optics Studio, the PT20X that I'm dealing with you on right now. I was running it on NDI, but we were having network saturation problems, so I popped back over to HDMI. And then also one of those VL cams. That's the ones with the 4X variable manually adjusted lens. I'm going to hang it right up here so I can get a good down shot. He didn't like my Logitech C920 on his PTZ Optics Superjoy keyboard review that I did. So he said, we got to fix that. So anyway, okay. So there we go. All right. So now, if you're just joining us, we're live streaming one feed right now to YouTube at $59.94. Joe, thank you very much. And we're recording. We'll upload the recording to Facebook later. My apologies to those of you that were on Facebook. we had to drop that feed because we just couldn't maintain it. So we have 8 cameras. They're the BirdDog P200. They're set at 1080p 60. 4 of them were coming in over NDI. 2 of them were coming in under HDI and 2 under SDI. The ones coming like that were coming in on UON 4-port capture cards, HDMI and SDI. And let's get rid of that. Sorry about that. And then the 4, of course, were just coming in on, the 4 NDIs were coming on my gigabit network. And as I was testing it this morning, I spent a lot of yesterday setting this up, and then a lot of time this morning kind of resetting it and testing it, and then resetting and testing some more. You know how that goes. And I realized that when I was recording a clip, when I was exporting a clip in replay, the clip it wasn't dropped frames, but it was pauses. So somebody would be moving, they would freeze, and then they would keep moving. And I don't know what that's called in the trade, but it didn't look good. So I set out to find what it was. And it happened on, I think I didn't know it when I was starting out, but it was just the NDI cameras that were doing it. I eventually figured that out, that it was the NDI cameras. Eventually figured out I must be saturating the network, because I had forgotten that I had on the PC that I'm going to show you in just a second, I had enabled NDI outputs for all 4 of the outputs, 1 through 4, with output 1, of course, being program out. And then I did replay, which apparently is a choice. And then I think I had a screen capture and then something else. I don't remember what it was. Anyway, so I was outputting 4 1080p 60s from that machine coming over to this machine so that I could show you guys what was going on. And I wanted to be, how many of those do I have left? I think I took them all out except this one. And looks like, yeah, there we go. Let me just show you this one for a second. So this is the, and get rid of the lower third. There we go. This is the multi-view, the new multi-view, which shows all 8 sources on the bottom and then A and B on the top. The reason A and B are on the top aren't moving is because I don't have anything recording. So you just see the cameras. And the setup is a setup where I wanted to use cameras because I wanted to have the load on the PC be a camera load. But I didn't have anything that was happening around here that had any kind of movement on it. So basically I asked, and some of you have seen it, and hat tip to William and Gerald and John and Kevin for sending me access to some of their live game footage. So I've got it going on big screen TV right over here that I'll show you in just a second. And I've got all the cameras pointed at the TV with, slightly different angles so that we can tell they're different cameras. I'll show you that shot again now that I've explained that. So you can see the bottom 2 rows are the 8 cameras. And, camera number 3, you can see a couple of bird dogs didn't get out of the way of the camera. And camera number 8 is a little close-up shot of what should be going on there. And yeah, some of the footage, I was looking over at the TV, some of the footage includes slow motion. I probably shouldn't have picked those shots. So if you see slow motion on there right now, it's not because there's anything slow-mo that's really going on. Yeah, we got to hurry up and finish the show before we lose all our bandwidth. So anyway, I had 4 NDI cameras that I had dialed back. In the BirdDog, you can go into the configuration and dial back the bandwidth they use. I dialed it back to 80 megs per camera. So 4 cameras at 80 megs is 320, which really was more than that. Ended up being more like 440. And then I had the 4 sources coming back from the other PC that were another 400 and such. And then, what was it? Something else. Oh, well, I've got my phone here set up because I'm going to walk you around. I don't have a portable camera, and this is on a vMix call, so there's a little bit of bandwidth there, not nearly as much as other places. And then, of course, I was trying to live stream, and that did saturate the network, and that was the reason why I was getting the glitchy video, the pause in the video. And what I did to discover that was basically I started taking out NDI cameras, and finally I just said I'll just take out all 4 of them, and everything cleared up immediately. And then I realized it's not just the NDI cameras, it's these outputs, NDI outputs from the prototype PC to the production PC. So I cut those out except one, and that gave me enough available, well, almost enough available bandwidth to put the 4 NDI cameras back in. So the current situation is, and I promise I'm going to show you in just a minute. The current situation is we've got 4 NDI cameras, 1080p 60, 2 HDMI cameras, 280p 60, 2 SDI cameras, 1080p 60, going into that machine. I don't think we have anything from this machine going into that machine. So it's just cameras going into that machine. And then we're doing the instant replay and then sending the multi-view, the new replay multi-view, which I just showed you, I'll show you again, is coming from the other machine because I think we were able to do all that. So let's go back here. So we pretty well, we've definitely saturated the network. There's no question about that. Looking back, if I were to plan this again with the current gear that I have, I would immediately have used, I was using NDI like it was just like water, but every NDI source has a price to pay. And so now we've got five NDI sources, and then we're live streaming, and we also have a vMix call going on. So there we go. If I were to do live sports, and again, I'm only doing 4 cameras in NDI. If I were to do live sports, and I was going to do 8 cameras, I would have to set up a 10G network, no doubt about it. 10G for sure. Now, it was Michael Graves that told me I couldn't do this. Well, he didn't really say that, but he raised an eyebrow figuratively. And you're right. It just wouldn't work otherwise. TKD Sports Network says 1 core for each NDI input. Yeah, that's per Martin Sinclair, last I heard. That's why we built this guy really big with 18 cores, because we figured we wanted to be able to handle 8 NDI cameras. It just wasn't we just didn't have the bandwidth to do it. Okay, so enough of this. Let's go over to the other PC and let me show you that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill this mic, and then I'm going to turn on the mic here. This is a little primitive, but it's just vMix call. So this mic off.
Bohannon's going to take the
this mic and this mic on. All right. So let's go take a look at the bird dogs first. And you can see they're just over here, whole flock of them, 7 of them over here. The 3 in the front are running NDI. The 4 in the back are running 2 HDMI and 2 SDI. They're pointed up here at the 55-inch TV, kind of confidence monitor, and that's what's given them what I think is at least 60 hertz. Probably should be more like 120 hertz. The other missing bird dog is over here, which was my studio cam. Here's the new PTZ Optics studio cam, courtesy of PTZ Optics. And then back here in the workshop area is where we've set up the prototype. And currently we are running, again, vMix 24 Pro. This is the PC. Let's see if we can get the light to adjust a little bit on it. There we go. You can see HDMI capture card closest to us, SDI capture card next to that, the RTX 2080 Ti next to that, and then underneath the fan there, how are we doing temperature-wise? We'll check some temperatures here in just a second. A 18-core CPU. In fact, we can, let's see what our temperatures are on the CPU. So you can see, whoops, come back up there. There. We're in the 50s, that's centigrade. And GPU-wise, I don't know if you can see it right down there in the bottom corner. GPU is at 55 degrees, again, centigrade. So we're good there. CPU usage, we're not doing anything. So we're in the 9-10%. We'll go over to the Ethernet usage here. Oh, looks like we're getting a call. Maybe our volume's not working. Hang on. Let's see. Check, 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 check. There we go. Video. Ah, yeah, there we go. Yeah, we should change the video over, shouldn't we? Let's start again. So maybe we need a video alert. All right. So, bird dogs. Thank you for those of you that called. Bird dogs, 3 in the front. NDI. 4 in the back, 2 HDMI, 2 SDI. Big TV with game footage. Here, we're catching up. I knew when RJ called that something was amiss. Here is the prototype PC. You can see on the right a two ports of 4 ports HDMI captured. To the left of that, 2 ports of 4 ports SDI capture. To the left of that, a RTX 2080 Ti video card, and to the left of that, underneath the Noctua fan there, and surrounded by 32 gigs of RAM, is an 18-core Intel CPU. Forget the model number, we'll look it up in just a second. I have up here on the left screen just some stats, task manager and resource monitor and real temp GT, just so we can see how our temps are. We can see for the CPU, it's that top row of temps in the 50s and 60s. I don't know if you can make it out, but in the bottom left-hand corner over there, the GPU temperature of 55 degrees, that's all Celsius. Let's go over here to the Ethernet, and we can see we are at 500 to 600 megs being received at this machine. So that's going to be our 4 NDI sources. And then let's punch up the CPU here so we can see CPU wise we're at 9-10%. Memory wise we're in great shape. GPU wise we're using 41%, temperature 55 degrees. You get a feel for how it's doing. We're not really doing anything yet. I mean, we're receiving those NDI sources and the HDMI and SDI sources, but we're not really doing much with it yet. And then here's our resource monitor. You can see network pretty well saturated. Okay, so we'll make that go away and get into the fun stuff. This is the main interface of vMix 24. It looks the same. We've got 8 cameras on the top row and then instant replay on the bottom row. Over here on the right is basically the instant replay. I'm going to see if I can set this down so we can hold tight one sec. There we go. And this is the same, pretty much the same interface as before. You can see in the top right-hand corner, I've got 8 monitors. In the top left-hand corner, I've got the A and B. In the big black space in the middle, I've got all the clips. There are now 20 bins to put clips in. And what I'm going to do here is go ahead and start recording. And that's going to give me an opportunity to make some replays, and I can show you what happens. So we've got a play going here. Let's see how the blue team does against the white team. There's the snap. Oh, man in motion. There's the snaps. Handoff. Does the quarterback keep it? No, he doesn't. And it looks like not much of a gain. Okay, so let's do a 10-second replay on that. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and select the first 2 cameras, I think, are the HDMI cameras. Nope, those are the SDI cameras. And then the next 2 are the HDMI cameras. And then the last 4 are the SDI cameras. And so I'm just going to play that back. And I want to take a look and see what the quality of the video is just at 100%. So we're going to play selected. Let's see, we can see right up here, action looks pretty smooth. Don't see any pauses, any jumps. Coming up on clip 4, that clip 4 just started, or excuse me, camera 4 of this first clip. Again, pretty smooth video, again, 100%. Now we're into the SDI camera. This is, NDI camera. This is NDI camera 1. And you notice in the left-hand A window, it was not a very good view, but that was that camera. And so what we're looking for any kind of pausing or glitchy or dropped frames or anything like that. A little bit of reflection off the TV there. That's clip. That's camera 7. Here's camera 8. Camera 8 on the left-hand side is the one that is located at my desk and looking at an angle. That's why it's got the kind of weird look to it. Okay, and so now we're done. I want to play that again, but again, let's take an advantage when we do that of go ahead and slowing down the video, and I want to give you a little better shot at it. So I'm gonna come over here to, yeah, we just went live with it right there. And so that's going to be clip number 1. I'm going to go ahead and hit the 50%. Let me see if I hang on a second. Let me just see if we can put this guy down. Not very well organized here. And maybe zoom in just a little bit. Okay. There we go. All right, that's clip 1. Excuse me. That's camera 1 playing, and we're going to slow it down to 75%. Did that? Yeah, that's 75%. I'm going to go to 50%. Saw a little bit of glitch in the background there. We're now at 50%. Nothing really going on in this picture. Let's go ahead and play our previously selected So now we're coming back at 50% to that play we're looking at just a minute ago. 50% of 60 frames a second would be 30 frames a second. We're seeing a little bit of glitchy here. I'm not sure if that's the TV. You know, we don't have real life action to look at. Now this is the second camera. We're going to slow that one down to 33%. You can begin to see some little ghosty movement there. That's probably because we're focusing on a TV set. And then we're coming to the end of that play, and we'll, on the third camera in this clip, we'll go to 25%, and that'll be right now. So now we'll go to 25%, and the quality of the video obviously is not as great. And again, it's probably a TV thing. I'm going to jump back up to 100% for a second, and let's go ahead and finish out with the HDMI, SDI cameras and have a look at the NDI cameras. So this is the fourth camera, so this is going to be an HDMI camera. And now coming up on the fifth camera, we'll slow it down to 50%. That's the fifth camera. This is an NDI camera right here. We're going to slow it down to 33%. Looks like the NDI actually has a little better quality. All right, that's the second NDI camera at 33%. This is the third NDI camera. We're going to slow it down to 25%. And when we go to the eighth clip, yeah, we may as well just not worry about that one. So, let's see, can we see something going on here? Yeah, there's an instant replay that's going on. Oh, you can't see that. Let's move over there so you can see. That's the video that we're watching. That was an instant replay of the video that we're watching. So let's get up to the kickoff here in just a second, and we'll record. Well, we could record an ad. How about that? I don't think so. So we'll wait just a second for that to kind of clear itself out. We've got a 1 terabyte M.2 SSD that we're using to record all of our replay on. That's kind of our scratch drive. And then we've got, I think it's a 250 gig M.2 drive is the main drive for software and operating systems and all that. Bear with me just a little bit longer. I guess I could walk over to the other PC and fast forward through this stuff, but William, just tell your friends at UK Healthcare that thousands and thousands of people across the world got to see their ad. All right, so again, we're waiting for some action here, waiting on the kickoff. And here is the kickoff, so we can go ahead and see if there's any run back, and then we can go back in time and get a little clip. Starting at the 10 to the 15 to the 20 and down at the 23-yard line. Okay, so let's do a 5-second clip on that. And we will we'll simply see if we can't just make that one go. There we go. Play event. Let's go ahead and select cameras. Let's just go straight to the NDI camera system. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we will display those guys. Select it. So this is camera 1. Can't see a whole lot on camera 1. We're still slowed down 25% just for fun. Let's see if we can't go less than that. That's 13% right there. And if I were to go to 0%, that's a 0%. So you're going to get a little fuzziness there. Let's try another 0. That's 0%. Go back in time. No, we'll go backwards. We'll go forward. So 50%. Again, this should be 30 frames a second. Looking at a TV set, that's not a bad replay speed. I mean, not a whole lot going on. And of course, you've always got the ability, if it's beneficial, to go into whatever the play is. Let's start that again. There we go. Whatever the play is, and we can zoom in and try to see where the ball was. That zoomed in probably too much. Let's go back to 100%. We'll just zoom into 2, which would give us a 720 feed. Let's see if we can't find something that's got a little bit more action in it. So we've got, this is what's happening on the screen. Looks like a player's down, so we're not going to get any action there. Here we go, a little replay action. And there's a timeout on the field. So we'll have to wait on that. I can't wait for an opportunity to get this out in the field. Again, it's going to be a question of, can we get 8 cameras out in the field? How would a single operator use 8 cameras? And I think they would use 8 cameras by the ability to switch a replay as if it were a live switched camera shot. So you've got the ability of knowing what the action is and being able to pick of your 8 cameras, pick the cameras that are going to show you the best shot of that action. And then with your shortcuts on your controller, to be able to not just play clips one after another, but to cut to a different camera as you have the need, so that the action is contiguous, continuous. All right, let's get a little shot or something here that we can work with, and see if we can get a nice replay that ends in basket or a foul or something like that. There's the shot, and it's up, and it's no good, and everybody crushes in together. That's going to be great. So we got that one. Let's go ahead and do the last 4 cameras on live on that. And then we'll go from live action to the replay. So we're in a replay right now. We're at 50% speed. This is not a particularly good angle, but it might be a good angle in just a second. And she moved out of the shot. All right, so I think you've got the idea there. I'll go back to the desk and have a look at the chat and see if there's anything in particular you'd like me to go show you. So we'll come back here and come back here. There we go. And turn off that audio. All right, there we go. All right, so let's look back and see questions. Michael says 8 replay 8 camera operators, 8 great cameras, beast of a computer, difficult to find the money for. Well, that's a whole different ballgame. Matt says Tom should NDI capture those 3-play screens and share in vMix. Well, we could do that. Jan just built a 10980XE. There you go. RJ says that there are shortcut actions to switch which cameras play back and replay A or B. And he had actually shortcut zoom and moved the controls for his replay onto his Behringer MIDI controller. There you go. Michael says he's impressed with the quality of the recordings, and considering it comes off a TV, yeah, that's the thing. Matt Thomas says vMix call kind of degraded the great quality. Matt, yeah, this particular call, let me see what the stats are now, but when I looked at it earlier, it was coming in at 360. So yeah, it wasn't a very good choice. I probably should have done the NDI camera, but I was concerned about the NDI bandwidth. So maybe I can do it with a recording when, well, no, even if I'm not streaming, it doesn't save that much. Let's see. What other comments? RJ, we'll have to get you over here and get you to show me how that. Three-play alternatives are 20 to 30,000. Yeah, I think something like this can be sub 10,000. Just looking back through comments. Sorry that you guys had hiccups. Not sure what it is you're seeing. I guess the video is just behind. There we go. Ba-da-bum. Jan says he's got to add that the X Keys replay controller takes vMix replay to another level. I mean, sure beats the tar out of a mouse. That's right. Litopia asks what resolution is Tom actually streaming at? I'm streaming at 1080p 60, but the webcam, the vMix call shot that you saw of the live streaming computer was only at 360, so it didn't really help. Michael Graves says it would be nice if he had a managed switch so we could see some more in-depth network info. Yeah, well, we'll work on that. The problem with a managed switch is it takes a manager that understands what they're doing. Yeah. Matt Thomas, great comment by Matt Thomas. NDI needs to be redesigned to use some GPU hardware acceleration to take load of the network. And not only on the network side, but on the the receiving PC side, because it's processing all that NDI with just CPU. Yeah. Let's drop this call, shall we? Yeah, there we go. No, the CPU is not overclocked, Jan, and that cooler was obviously keeping up really well. Although I didn't look at it while we were doing the replay. I didn't notice any fan speed up sounds. Yep. There we go. Is anyone seeing any more than bricks? I'm sorry about that. They ought to have a bricks alert. There you go. But thank you to RJ for calling in twice and for Joe to Max for placing a Facebook call. And, you know, RJ, I was like, why is he knows I'm in the middle of the show. Why is he calling? And then it dawned on me, you know, maybe something's up. And then Joe to Max called, and I was like, something is definitely up if Joe is calling in the middle of the show. The amount of NDI action. See if that won't help a little bit. We'll take 3 cameras off the network and see if we can't get a little bit more flexibility in it. Yeah. So that's pretty much it, guys. I think, you know, my conclusion, other than the NDI portion of it, you know, a 10G network would probably have fixed all the NDI issues, assuming that I had a 10 gig NIC in each of the PCs. And I probably would have pushed the bandwidth up on the individual cameras from 80 megs to maybe 100, 120, something like that. The PC, I mean, and this was really where I was coming from, you know, is an 18-core PC going to be able to handle 8 cameras of instant replay? And other than the NDI issue, which was not the PC's issue, it was the network issue, the PC did great. I didn't happen to note, maybe you guys did, what the CPU was. When I was testing this morning, recording 8 cameras and playing back video, and I was going to also stream for that machine, but that wouldn't have worked. But I did do a stream test this morning with all 8 cameras, 4 NDIs, and I think I got up to about 45% on that machine. So instant replay for 8 cameras and streaming. Didn't do any recording, but of course, you know, you are recording 8 ISOs essentially if you're doing instant replay. So I'm real pleased, and I'll do some more testing with this in hopefully a more real world environment. I do have somebody that wants to borrow this machine for some testing of their own. And we probably will be putting together a package using the specs from this machine on a kind of a dedicated replay machine. You know, put it together with the X Keys controller that'll be updated for 8 cameras. I'm talking with somebody about doing a workshop coming up, you know, pretty soon. Well, it doesn't have to be that soon, but before American football season. On the changes with vMix 24, assuming that you are already a vMix operator, vMix replay operator. You know, what do you have to look forward to from somebody that uses it professionally? So that's it. Kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'll take responsibility for the ugly, for sure. If you have any questions about this, shoot me a note, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com. And in fact, let's move to the pre-show, to the post-show here, and we'll get some of your comments up in some of the new titles from vMix. So we're going to go to the show close. Thank you, Martin K., and we'll be right back. Okay. In the post show, somebody was oh yeah, here it is. Taekwondo relays replay said they had a test today with 8 cams and having a problem with this SSD. And it depends on what kind of SSD you've got. Do you have a SATA SSD? Do you have a SATA SSD that's attached to an M.2 slot on your motherboard, or do you have an NVMe SSD M.2 attached to your motherboard? You know, and you have to check the speeds. I think in the instant replay system requirements in the help of version 24, it does list kind of a minimum SSD speed. But as Matt Thomas, suggests that maybe you just go 4 cams per SSD. It depends on the gear that you've got on hand. So let's see. Other good comments. Hard to say. So we got RJ, who is all over the place. He's doing a multi-angle replay last week from boxing and MMA fights in Biloxi. I'm glad that worked out for you. Very good, very good. Matt Thomas has got a build coming up, a vMix beast to use with his ATEM replay, his ATEM switcher. There you go. And let's go back to some of the early comments here. So Michael, in answer to your question, no, it wasn't eight NDI cameras. It was only 4 NDI cameras. But what I didn't realize was I had 4 other NDI sources that were probably using more bandwidth than the NDI cameras were. So there we go. And the answer to the question is yes, it can run on Ethernet, but it's probably going to take a 10 gig switch to do what I initially wanted to do. And that was just me not paying attention. Rich knew that was going to happen. And then we, as much as we would like to attribute all of the problems to Marie, honestly, it really couldn't. Really couldn't be. And Clint, your anxiety is appreciated, but unnecessary. It was a. How would you describe it? Would you say that it was a crashing defeat or a fail? I mean, in live streaming, yeah, you can have fails, and if it's with a paying client, it's pretty horrendous. But every failure makes you smarter. Every experience of being an idiot reduces the chances that you'll be an idiot in the future, unless it's a new version of vMix and you want to play with it and see if you can break it. It's always a treat to have something new like this. Clint's trying to get back in my good graces. My good graces now. Yeah. It sure. And thank you, John. I appreciate that. Yep. So the challenge here is first, RJ, we want to see you get up to vMix 24. And we want to see you double the number of cameras that you're doing on replay. Your folks will love it. You'll have to get a dedicated replay operator, though. That's the thing. And excuse me, we'll see about if we can put together a workshop on vMix 24 replay. It's very possible that we can, and I'll keep you informed. If you are interested in having us build a replay machine for you, we're not ready to do that, but we will be. If you're interested in our primary resellership is with vMix that makes all of this possible. Couldn't do it without vMix. Holy cow. Hat tip to Martin and Tim. Well done, gentlemen. Can't wait to see the March Fun Time Live show now that the pressure's off a little bit. But let me remind you, this is an open message to the guys at vMix. The pressure's not off. The pressure is now for vMix 25. What are you going to do to top this? So, yeah, Matt says my Switch is about ready to melt down. So I need to go put my Switch out of its misery. And if I can help you in any way, just holler to me and let me know. But we're going to close out the post show at this point. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your dogged pursuit of helping me switch cameras. Perhaps I need to let somebody else switch this show remotely. That would be fun. That would be fun. If you're interested in doing that, let me know. We'll have fun with that. Play with that. So we'll see you next week for another exciting and terrifying episode of Streaming Idiots. Next Wednesday, 3 o'clock. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube. Go ahead and sign up for the Facebook group Streaming Idiots. It'll be fun. You'll wish you did. You'll be happy you did. You won't even be anxious. Yeah, good. All right, guys. I will catch y'all on the flip side. Thanks for watching.